we'll ask the community the question about what can they do to build resilience to coastal erosion and future flooding events. And really, that's the journey that we're excited about moving on to. So more informed, empowered coastal communities, that's the key. What we aim to get out of this project, and we'll be looking in terms of making space for sound outcomes, are these two things. Community resilience action briefs, we call that CRAB, and a CAP, a community adaptation plan. It might be one or the other. In some cases, it could be both, but these are bespoke products for those coastal communities, because actually what we know, and from that information that Joe showed us on the website, all those coastal communities are completely unique in the way that the coast is changing and the sand is moving, and actions and activities they might want to consider in terms of future coastal erosion and flood risk. So these will be the outcomes of the project for us. And it's one of those opportunities really for us to share best practice between those coastal locations as well. So that's going to be the next stage. So really that's it for me. It's a welcome. And for those people who are online, we look forward to working with you. We look forward to working with the communities. And we look forward to running our workshops where you are and engaging you in the conversation around, what's the next step in building resilience and considering coastal erosion and changing sea levels. So thanks, hi and goodbye. We're going to move on next. Next up, you're going to hear a little bit more about making space for sand. We've got Joseph Saunders talking about his role with Southwest Coastal Monitoring, and then we've also got a couple of examples from Parr and Bude as well. Yes, go on, have you got a quick question?
Sarah Iverson, I've just got a question about from the coastal monitoring, because obviously we've got the tributaries of all of our rivers as well that are going in.
Yeah.
So how far up does this, in other words, is there joined up writing for what's happening upstream?
That's a very good question. Yeah, is there joined up writing from upstream flooding to the coastal flooding? Well, really, that is the beauty of Cornwall Community Flood Forum being involved in the project, because we'll be working with these coastal communities, but we've got expertise and past best practice from fluvial flooding and from inland communities. So it might be in some circumstances that with those coastal communities, we can help them produce a flood plan, for example. We've got good practice of doing that elsewhere, so that's what that's some of the kind of skills that CCFF can bring to the table. Yes.
I'm purchased from Stratton Town Council.
Yes.
I've got family who live in the Wirral, and in the Wirral they're trying to do some work on retaining the beaches around Heswall by letting grass grow and so on. And there's actually quite a big population now of people who are very much anti that, and they want the beaches to be kind of resurfaced and grass taken away and so on. So I suppose two-part question. Are you in contact with those kind of people, and also what could we potentially be doing to stop that kind of resistance building up?
Good question. So for those people online, there are some areas that have been grassing and greening their sand dunes, you're saying, and other people that feel actually they want to move away from that. Well, one of the beauties of making space for sand is it's a partnership project. So I don't know if you can see down there, but Cornwall Wildlife Trust logo is on the bottom of the banner. And Cornwall Wildlife Trust, in fact, are running a workshop this afternoon that I recommend you go to, because Andy Nelson, who's here somewhere, just there, his team are sand dune experts in terms of biodiversity and habitats. So they are bringing the expertise into, what's currently there, what's the health of the sand dune, and what's best practice in terms of, maybe dealing with invasive species or protecting the dune for future flood prevention measures. Go on, Joe, did you want to add something?
So we're also part of the national project. So there's 25 projects going on all around Britain, and some of those are coastal projects as well. So we're not just looking at what's happening in Cornwall, we're looking at what's happening all around the coastline of Britain, and we're using that knowledge and learning from each other about what's
And actually, on that note, I just recently came back from Portugal, where I noticed they have got a huge sand dune project sort of going on over there as well. So it's not just, you know, in the UK, there will be expertise from, you know, further afield as well that will be able to sort of look at some of the research and some of the findings. So it's, yeah, it's really timely, and it's really exciting that we're getting involved in this project. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to invite Joseph to come up. Oh, yes, go on.
Yes, Ben, that's Shirley from
Hello.
UK.
Hi.
When this project was first publicised,
Yeah.
it said that you were going to look at the 40 various different sites, but only 6 would get like the additional plans. Is that changed? Are you going to do all 40 now?
Oh, well, Joe, you can chip in. Well, I'll just...
Joe, would you mind doing it?
Oh, can you... Yeah, come and speak on the mic so our colleagues at home can answer. You might need to repeat the question if that's okay.
So this is about, are we going to do something on all of the sites? So we're going to be collecting data from each of the sites and seeing what could be done. But we're going to be focusing on some sites where we can make the biggest difference with the money we have available. But what the data is going to do is provide an evidence base for kind of future work that can be done on all of the sites. So it's quite a big range of 40 different sites. That's a lot of sites. So, but we are going to be doing something on all of them, but only focusing a lot of energy onto the ones where we can make a difference.
Decide which 6.
There's been a lot of research going into that and a lot of thought going into it. So the data that comes out of what we're learning will kind of guide us to where we can make that difference. But the evidence that we're going to be gathering will actually provide an evidence base for things we can do in the future, really. We don't have a huge amount of money, so most of the money is going to go into working with our partners and collecting data, really. And so it's kind of a discovery project. We will be doing a couple of capital projects where we'll be spending a bit more money, but most of the money is going to go into the research. But we'll be sharing that with everyone, and everyone can have access to it. And as the website evolves, we'll be adding to that. So it's not a static site; it'll be growing. So we just want to share all that knowledge with communities, basically. Okay.
Any question from people?
Thanks, Jo.
online?
No. Okay. Well, to build on that, Joseph, come up and talk to people about what you've been involved in so far. And like I say, I'm excited from the Flood Forum to start moving forward to those community conversations. So over to